Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Lucid. I'm joined once again by Maryland.
Popcorn
Day. Been a while, Maryland, since you and I have logged in to see a turn like this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This could be
So
exciting.
Maryland, what happened last episode? Because this game has been through so many fluctuations and ups and downs and reversals and changes in game state. And last turn, there wasn't a ton of fighting, but there were some major developments. What happened?
Well, the critical developments were astral corruption went down. We think because Vanheim's god died, and arcane nexus went down because we think Pelagia's god died. The Kraken. So we're hoping to be told. I see we have messages from both why that occurred.
Yes. So let's.
And those were huge effects on the overall game state.
So let's read first the message from Pelagia, then from Vanheim, and then we'll go through everybody else.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll read Pelagia, you can have Vanheim. So, ever since Astral Corruption went up, Written in Water has been killing 1 to 2 Doom Horrors per turn. The battles have been so one-sided I stopped watching them. But last turn something odd happened. He just refused to melee and only cast spells. I don't know what caused this. A buggy interaction, or an unlikely AI randomization chain. May enlist Logi's help to investigate. This is very unfortunate because I had a lot of stuff lined up for the near future, but it required the pearls from Nexus. Without them, the Pelagian ambition for victory ends here. This turn...
That is what I predicted. That's what I said. I think he's done.
This turn I'm casting a global, which may result in some funny battles if it goes up. But if previous luck holds, the DRN of this game in general, and the DRN in this game in general is any indication, somebody else's global will take hold instead. Then I intend to retire. That should bring some clarity to the rest of the players as to how this game will end, and we can all sign up for Tourney 3. Well, I don't know what he means by retire. I guess just kind of watch and eat popcorn from the sidelines, which I think is...
Yeah. I hope he doesn't mean go away.
I hope so too. But I think he's done if things start playing out in this way. So we need to go see what Dire Portents got cast. That's going to be important.
Yes, we do.
But first, you want to read this message from Vanheim?
This turn, last one for you, as pretty bad as my pretender got eaten, literally, by the Doom Horror Hoover after doing Stygian Pass. Normally, he should have been able to beat down even a Doom Horror, but he got hit by an unlucky Paralyze right away. I can call him back pretty easily. Yeah, I predicted that. And Pan is going to put up AC up, put Astral Corruption up again right away. So the worst was the good items he had on him, including my Ring of Sorcery. At least I got the Throne of Water, as Pelagia did not even try to defend it. I wonder if he actually had a big force in the lake, or if he just a smaller force and some magic items making it look larger. He has also taken down the lap? The lap.
Yeah.
Lab, spelling error. So I can't even teleport my army back out. Ulm and Ashdod will attack me this turn, but I am only defending a few locations for now, as I prefer to see exactly what they got before fighting back for real. Yeah, okay, so, he's going to do a Russian 42 thing. He's just going to pull back, wait, pull up his reserves, and then counterattack.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, thinking about it too, I was thinking okay, maybe Pelagia went to defend that throne with his god. Looking back on it, Pelagia probably wouldn't have risked Nexus, because he can get the throne back, but he can't. Losing Nexus would be bad. So maybe it was Pelagia was just casting Wish, and he really did give up that throne. It's probably more likely.
Maybe. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. He didn't say anything about trying to defend that thing, so he might have just said, forget it. Too costly for the effort.
All right. Next, we have a message from Ulm. I expect by the time the viewers are reading this message reading the messages from other players at this point in the game, people are watching them relatively close to one another. If any of us sound a little disappointed in personality, disjointed in personality, it's because at this point turns are rolling anywhere up to 8 days apart. Two things in life are generally bad ideas: anything happening after 2 a.m. and playing Dominions past turn 100. Pantocrator forbid you're doing both. This turn begins the War of Revenge, the great war in which Ulm reclaims that which was taken from us by Van or dies in glorious battle. The time for mind games and shadow room dealings is over. Glory to man and steel, glory to Ulm. All right.
All right. Go for it.
An exciting message.
Go for the gusto. Can we read Ashdod before we do Pangaea?
You want to read it?
In the dark on Diplo this turn, given both AC and Nexus went down, I have to think some major agreements were struck that they will be game deciding. Well, too bad he's wrong there. It was just bad luck. Breaking NAP early with Van was posed in a couple different ways to me recently, perhaps foreshadowing how others treat me. It'll be interesting to see what's respected. I'm officially NAP'd with everyone except Van. Given the 2 empty global slots now, I've put in a bid for Vengeful Waters. Awesome. Nothing would annoy Raiders more. Mostly I'm playing defense as I'm expecting the worst. He's expecting other people to gank him. The exception is my gold tier army that's pushing into Mechlin. I've telegraphed this move for 3 turns deliberately. Mechlin looks completely empty this turn prior. Glamour and obfuscation gear, perhaps. I'm expecting 100 devils, though they could have moved quite far by now, plus about 200 melee and unknown cavalry. For mages, expecting lots of Astral 3 and liches with full buff support. I'm doing an insane buff stack, but it's mostly relying on Wrathful, Rigor, Skeletal Legion, Turbo Communions, and advanced Zam mages to petrify drain life. I figure my stuff should do better fatigued out with what's it called?
Armor negating.
Anyways, the Astral and Bolts dropping than his stuff. I felt Rigor was necessary due to the Sacred Cav ? Their defense will be incredible once they claim the Water Throne. And with
magic weapons and weapons of sharpness.
Magic weapons, weapon of strength, weapon of sharpness, and rush of strength. I think they really ruined my day otherwise. My secret weapon is the gelatinous cubes that have encumbered Cyril. But his god could very well show up to try to arcane dominate them. Well, we know his god won't be showing up for a while. Many question marks. Normally I'd probe to see what's actually there, but I think these are the end times. Okay. Yeah, Ashdod has played pretty cautious through much of this game. Not necessarily a bad thing, but...
Okay, and then we have the messages from Pangaea. As you can see the battles this turn... you can see the battles this turn, so you know the big news. So here's what you can't see. There's a stealthy Astral Mage sneaking in the Throne of Fire to cover... So we know what he's talking about. He's attacked Ulm.
Right.
There's a stealthy Astral Mage sneaking into the Throne of Fire to cover the Vampire Lord stack from Mind Hunts. There's a ton of random Hierophants sneaking into provinces with the Spectral Mage, SC for the same reason. I suspect you'll see this since Pelagia is likely going to ping it, but the Throne of Death is being hit by a serious commitment of demons and sacreds with most every battlefield spell under the sun. I did what I could do to mitigate its vulnerability to battlefield clear and master and slave, and will be covering it with a bunch of disease demons, earth attack, crumble, murdering Gwynner, etc., in order to trigger returning if he has master and slave a caster in the fort when I storm.
Oh my god.
This is like 4D chess, by the way, doing that to try to get
good
Ritual of Returning to go off. Which, can work. Which also might help disrupt a communion and save other nice have other nice ancillary benefits. I'm also preaching it up with Dryads in my Prophet to try to get it into friendly Dominion for Gift of Health, but I don't expect much success there. I'm also hitting the lake with a serious group of Storm Demons with buffs, just to try to keep the mages currently in the lake from joining the battle. If he breaks with everything this turn and a real battle script, he can certainly kill it, but I'll have a decent shot at beating a bunch of middling scripted mermages and chaff if he just pings it when their job is done. Either way, his force will probably move onto the Throne of Death as well if he survives to provide additional firepower and extra chances at sniping the Master and Slave caster. This will...
So he's going for 2 thrones this very
What
turn.
was the other one? The Throne of Fire.
Throne of
I don't
Fire
think he's... I think this he's
Throne of
raiding
Death.
with vampires, but we'll see what's actually present.
Okay.
Pelagia has been slacking a bit these last couple of turns compared to the usual attention to detail, which I suspect is what's responsible for Nexus dropping. He said it was a bug, so I'm curious to see the details once the episode for this turn comes out. Well, sadly, we don't get to see it.
I don't think that's a bug anyways. You don't have any control over what happens in a horror assassination. It might not be predictable. I don't think it's a bug.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, he can report it, and it may turn out, but I don't have a clue what the AI, how it decides what the hell it's going to do with the mage in assassinations.
Off-script casting is
does.
inside the mind of the AI. It's pretty inscrutable.
Yeah, and it just does it. I've seen the stupidest damn things, like a guy continuing to buff himself while the assassin's standing beside him.
Yeah. And, I mean, honestly, a plan which involves surviving Doomhars every turn is a brittle plan.
It's
high risk. And...
high reward, but high risk.
I mean, I have... my middle-aged Atlantis game, I had an Ancient Kraken, Mr. Hands, for those that recall. And he got hard marked to hell. And so he wasn't fighting Doomhars every turn, but he was fighting them regularly. And he would kill a lot of Doomhars. You know, we killed a ton. We ended up dying because I forgot, like, shock resistance, and we died to some Brass Clawhars at one point. And I think we eventually died to a Doomhar. It's just, it's a very dangerous dice to roll every turn.
Right.
I would have thought he would have not been casting stuff with him once. I just assumed you wouldn't use your Nexus caster to cast Wish or other things that might attract the attention of the horrors any more than you need to.
Yeah, I agree with you, but maybe you have to. I mean, you got to make a play,
but
right?
I think he has other Wish casters, so I don't know if you need one more.
Well, he did have Cthulhu for quite a while, but I don't know if Cthulhu would have survived.
He'll eventually get killed by horrors too. So, okay. But he's also gotten some stuff flat out wrong recently, so it might just be player error. In any case, between that and the demoralizing defeats he's suffered recently, I think that he's likely going to continue to perform lower than the extraordinarily high standard which I usually hold him to. He may even have already written the game off as a loss. In any case, I'll see what he deploys to defend the Throne of Death and how much effort he puts into it. I have no idea what his bank is like now, but he needs to recast Nexus, which will seriously help mitigate how much he can spend to defend it, and will take away at least one Master and Slave caster. I'm almost certain that Ashdod will honor his mutual defense pact with Ulm and end our nap this turn. Assuming he keeps both deals, he can attacks can be ordered 107. This will likely be another seriously challenging war, since at this point in the game, Ashdod has just a lot of juice, and those Anakites and Blood Summons are going to be extremely powerful in fights with in-game magic. Add on an enormous durable communion with Astral 2 Raphite Sages, and he just might have the strongest potential death stacks in the game. Fortunately, I have a reliable ally and a deep bag of tricks. Who's the reliable ally? Vanheim, I guess?
It has to be Vanheim.
So I might be able to pick them apart and deny your viewers any good fights.
Oh boy. So we now have a 2v2 in effect.
Yeah.
Because Pelagia is effectively out of the game.
Let's see.
I mean, he's admitted he's out of the game. So this is now a pretty good 2v2.
I guess that'll be interesting to see what Vanheim does. I mean, if I were Vanheim, I would probably be interested in picking off Pangaea. The problem is you don't know how the game state's going to evolve. So in some ways, Pangaea scratched Vanheim's back by jumping on Ulm because Vanheim was about to get 2v1'd. So it'd be kind of rude for Vanheim to turn around and stab Pangaea after Pangaea just scratched his back. But that may be the objectively best play for Vanheim.
It could be, yeah.
All right.
Want me to read this
why don't you?
One thing that this game's helped me realize is how far any of us are to being actually good at Dominions. The way that serious gamers are good at other complex strategy games that have had more people spending more time actually trying to get good at them. There are just so many things that I needed to do 20, 30 turns ago in order to properly prepare for the wars that I have to fight now. And most of these are things that it's just too late to start getting set up. For instance, I needed to forge a lot more gear to keep humans safe in late game fights, and which also help to protect them from flames from the sky. And I should have been bulk forging prior to corruption going up. Even feeding a nexus is okay compared to having a significant chunk of your mage core useless in large fights against competent opponents. I also needed to make more Sea Kings, since I knew I was going to have to fight Pelagia, and while they obviously wouldn't have paid for themselves, they're casters that I'd already want to have around with chaff that would be useful for sieging underwater forts, and the sooner that I summoned them, the more water gems from their passives I'd have built up. Now I just don't have the bank for that, but if I'd made 3 more 20 to 30 turns ago, I'd be in a much better position when it comes to having big, durable water casters available for those late game fights. Excellent points.
Yeah.
I would argue, though, that this is a little bit hindsight is 2020, because if I remember 20 to 30 turns ago, his strategic situation was such that he had bigger worries than Pelagia at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, it's really hard.
I think that was about when Nexus went up, was about 20, 30 turns ago. But
yeah, and most of us don't plan a long way ahead of time in a detailed way. A lot of us make sort of generic plans.
Well, Arco was doing very specific deep planning about, like, he was planning about Astral Corruption going up at the start of the game. I mean,
yeah. But this one's a more specific set of plans dedicated to dealing with 2 critical issues. Number 1, Astral Corruption, and number 2, planning to invade into the water.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had the same learning on human mages. Like, you have to gear human mages if you want to bring them to late game fights, basically, period. And doing it economically where you have hammers so you don't waste a ton of gems, that does require a lot of forethought and planning. And then even that's a bit of a trap, because you put gems on your dudes, gear on them. Well, now you don't want them to die, and so you end up maybe wanting to put 2 items instead of 1, and now you're like really invested. But
well, then there's the micro that the lab has limited space, so you got to sort that stuff and you got to put it on guys. I mean, All Stars is a bit of an example. I had lots and lots of turns to make all kinds of different stuff, but some of the stuff I ended up having in the lab wasn't quite right when the situation changed who I was going to fight. Like, it wasn't all the right stuff for dealing with you. It was better stuff for dealing, because that's what I was making 20 turns ago. So that's a tough one. I mean, I don't think he's giving himself credit.
Well, I do think he's right. Like, when you look at the details that people fuss about in, like, a build order for StarCraft, or how they plan out things in Age of Empires or something, I mean, people fuss about all sorts of little details that we just haven't had time to I think the space in Dominions is much bigger. Like, all the different things you can do so many more things in Dominions than you can do in these other strategy games. So the space is huge, and then in addition, there's not enough players to explore it. So I think we really don't know what good at Dominions really means. But Sai's pretty fucking good. He's pretty fucking good.
Well, I think you've got a good point there. If you think of this as a decision space, like a mathematical concept, the decision space for Dominions is so much bigger than almost any other strategy game around. that I can think of. There's a couple, like maybe if you consider Dwarf Fortress Decision, and our community is relatively small, and we're not really very good at putting together concise locations to collect strategic information or tactical information and disseminate it. We spend too much time, not too much, but an awful lot of it is just continuing back and forth discussions on Discord that never get archived, never get put down into a document, never get turned into something that's easy to reference.
It's so hard to know anything. Somebody does something right in a game once and they want to write a guide on it, and it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe you did it right, maybe you did it wrong and got lucky, or other things played out, or you're good at diplomacy, or or maybe other people in your game made bad decisions, or there's a million things. It's so hard to know, like, what was responsible for a win in a game, like even that. And then I think if you take the time to win, like if you can get it down where you're winning with the nation like 5 out of 6 times, which, think about the amount of time you need to invest in a game to get there. Then you can kind of know. Then you can be like, I've kind of got this dialed in. This is a really strong strategy. But I think that's really hard to do.
Well, for somebody like you and I that have been playing this for a very, very long time, I'll make a statement here, which is that I don't read the patch notes every time they come out in great detail to be sure I understand how those changes affect my game. And I don't usually catch on to, oh my God, this thing I used to use all the time no longer works, until I use it and it fails. And then I go, well, what the hell was that? So unless you're one of those people and the patch notes are written in such a way that they take time for people to interpret what they really mean. So, man, and I've mentioned before, I think I forget more than I remember some days.
Yeah. That's how you know you're on the
and it's really easy to fall back on.
You're getting old.
It's really easy to fall back on habits I developed during Dominions 3 or 4, and then I'll pull them out in a game without thinking too carefully and go, oh shit, that doesn't work.
All right, so let's get back to this game though. Which we've got a lot happening. What do you want to cover first?
Globals.
So globals, we had 2 dire portents. We had the PNS broadcasting station, and this I think is Astral Corruption, right? Yes, the World of Corruption. Okay, and then we have Ashdod. Has cast Vengeful Water. Water. We also know from Pelagia he made a bid for a global, and he is, I'm sure, going to be very depressed that he did not win the bid.
But we don't know which one.
We don't know what global he was going to put up, and we don't know how much he would have put in it, but we do know he's probably very sad.
Could you turn on candles on the map filters? Because we are probably going to want to see them now around Ashdod.
Right.
I mean, it's not easy for us to tell, but at least anywhere there's big candles.
Right, and let's see what his pretender's name again. So he is Power Unlimited Power, and this is the Candles of Vikings. So it's going to be really hard to dom push into Vanheim because they can blood sacrifice. So
it is a pretty darn defensive maneuver.
So
now we're on to
so fights. I kind of want to look at Ulm and Pangaea. What do you think? We could start with,
if we're doing Ulm and Pangaea. Nope, that's good. Let's do Ulm and Pangaea.
All right. So this is pretty spicy.
Low commitment raid.
Now they didn't have I'm guessing they didn't have a non-aggression pact. Either that or Sai violated it, which I don't think he did.
I don't believe they did. I don't remember one. And if they did,
I don't think they did. Ago. And so, okay. Yoink.
All right. Quick raid. And, he tries to knock this out, and that failed. What's this guy got for gear, the Centaur?
Let's take a look.
Oh, Earth Elementals. He's well geared.
Yeah, he's got regen. This is an expensive thug. I mean, 10, 20, 25, 30, 40 gems. And with Astral Corruption up, everything's a little bit more expensive.
I'm suspecting he just gets trampled.
Ah!
Yep. Just got
Get
trampled.
wrecked. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ouch.
this is what can happen to thugs.
Okay. Yeah. Ethereal would have
Yeah.
helped him.
I don't think it would have been enough.
Oh, what's we got? Oh, okay. Oh, here's one of his spectral magi. So, and this one he didn't hide. So he's basically said, "You're not going to mind hunt this province."
Is a real army, though. So he's got a dryad here.
Oh, why is she running?
Okay.
She ran away.
Did she just do moss body?
Oh.
What? Wait.
Oh, he's not an astral. He's not an astral spectral.
What? Why did she? What did she cast? That she was so. She had gear. Oh,
Yeah,
Iron Warriors. Okay, that's worth it.
Iron Warriors.
That's worth it.
Okay, yeah. And he's just going to take everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vortex. And regen. And outrageous protection and ethereal.
Yeah.
31 protection plus ethereal and a frostbrand and vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to need magic to kill that guy.
He didn't have invulnerability, but didn't need it. Yeah.
No. Wow.
And he probably knew there was stuff patrolling here, but this was not adequately defended by mages, right? So it's kind of one of those things like, now Ulm probably, he didn't expect this, obviously, right? Because he's been in a state of peace, let's say. Not a non-aggression pact peace, but a state of peace with Pangaea for a long time.
No, this is a surprise attack.
And he did have some mage support. Let's see what his Master Smiths were doing. This is pretty dangerous, though, to having a bunch of stuff patrolling without...
Well, maybe they didn't have gems.
No, they're on spells. They're not on... Okay, one's on
advanced
advanced and cast. I don't know if that's going to matter. Oh, it's already over by the time he... Yeah.
Too late. Too late. Okay.
Okay, well, that's very painful. He's going to need those troops.
And there's 4 or 5
more
more
vampires.
2 vampire lords.
Vampires plus some demons.
Real army.
Hits this with the vampire, loses 1.
But takes it.
Hits this
Sieges
with a
one.
pretty big stack. I saw 30 storm demons here. Let's see what else is present. About 15, about 10 of the other demons.
That's a lot of vamp lords there.
How many vamp lords? Oh, yeah, a lot.
Did you see that? Looks
Yeah.
like 12.
This is where he's got the stealthy astral mage trying to bait out some mind hunts.
Right.
Mind hunt, by the way, is going to be a little tricky with astral corruption up still.
Yeah.
He hits this. All this raiding is also going to just really cripple Ulmish logistics. Like, how do you get troops to where they need to be?
Oh, look how deep he raided.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Satis all the way surrounded.
Oh, boy. Okay, that one bounced. That one sieged.
And moves a
That one's serious.
big pile on top of these guys.
14 fiends.
So, I think this is the damage being done. What do you think of the questions Ulm has to figure out here to fight this war?
Do I go AI? Sorry, that was facetious, but this is ugly. Can Ulm? I mean, he's in a fight with Vanheim, and then his backside just got poked with a broomstick.
Yeah, and this is the danger of having a very powerful, aggressive Pangaea, even though they're friendly at the moment, being a free agent.
Yes.
I think the question he has to answer. So he's got to figure out how to deal with the demon stacks, right? That's one, right? And so there you're going to want demonic cleansing and some other things.
Well, does he even try to set up ambushes to stop these vampire lord raids? I mean, does
Well, I
he
think
have
that's
anything?
the other question he has to answer, which is how am I going to deal with the vampire lords? Like, what is a cost-efficient way to kill these guys?
Mhm. And where are they going to show
And
up next?
he doesn't
Because
have great ways to do soul slay. You know, like an astromation
no,
can permanently kill them. I don't think is going to be able to permanently kill them easily. And we already know they can tank an infinite amount of chaff with Soul Vortex, and so it could be like having a small amount of guardians in some of these raiding parties who have the magic attack. It could also be advance and cast spell for his cap only mages doing Iron Blizzard. Could be he needs Black Lord thugs. You can make Black Lord thugs have some pretty nasty weapons that will kill a vampire if they don't get overwhelmed by the chaff, by like a horde of skeletons.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And at the same time, you know, you've got these Hierophants running around too. So, but I think you can make Black Lord thugs that could kill a Hierophant. I think.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at this going. I just don't know what I would do if I was Ulm with this coming at me from Pangaea right now. I hate to say it, but I think I might be tempted to hide in my big forts.
Yeah.
Like how many?
The problems you have though are you need to put out things that are low enough commitment to kill these raiders, like the thug type raiders, that when they get hit by something like this, when they die, you don't care. Because like, let's say you want to defend this from a vampire lord attack, right? Well, what's going to come here? Is this going to come here? Is this going to come here? This is really dangerous to defend. These other ones you can. But now, like, especially when you're retaking it, you have to worry, did he PD dump? Probably not, because people are poor after Armageddon, you know, but...
I was thinking about these small forts with poor defenses. I mean, the vampire lords are not going to crack them, but do you patrol with something on top of them?
You cannot let somebody go sit on top of your forts like this. I mean, I think Earth Elementals can kill him too. So you can do the Earth Elementals.
Yeah, and that's one of his best options.
You can do Fire Elementals too. Those are really good against vampires, basically, you know, because it's going to burn through a horde of skeletons. So you can do Elementals. And a mix of both. You know, trading Elementals against Vampire Lords who are going to respawn for free doesn't feel great. No. So you can do Black Lord Thugs too.
Iron Blizzard.
Or Iron Blizzard.
Iron Blizzard, if you get close. You know, the giant shotgun might.
But we also just don't see anything in any of these forts, right? So his things are not where they need to be right now. He needs to basically put up budget defense that's going to kill one or two thugs if they attack on top of these forts, and he needs to do that like this turn. And then he's got to at the same time figure out how to deal with these massive armies. And the same thing that happened with Pelagia up here, where he was just pouring waves of Maenads supported by like a mage. That's just going to flush over his whole thing. And honestly, all the things that are going to be good against vampire lords or these Hierophant thugs are not going to do well against 100 Maenads supported by a charming Pan. Those are all going to lose against that. So,
yeah. So how do you create a depth of defense with any low commitment counter rating force? Difficult. I'm a little stumped for ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see.
I mean, I think you have to go, like, you can't get raided to death by these thugs, right? So I think you have to put up the defense for those. And you have to come up with the counter for some of these things, like some of these armies. But I think as the waves of of response roll in from Pangaea, I think there's enough military might and depth of strategies that Pangaea can deploy that they will just wash over Ulm. But
yeah.
Okay. What do you want to watch next?
Well, while we're on the topic of Ulm, let's just have a look at his border with Vanheim and see. So he's moved out some moderate commitment stuff. Oh, that failed.
Okay. Wasting gems on an Iron Angel. Shame. For shame.
Well, I think he had that for a long time. But
every time I see it, I'm going to say...
brutally outclassed. Yeah. He's brutally outclassed.
So he's got Army of Gold up, but it's Army of Gold. Now, these guys do enjoy Army of Gold because they've got built-in shock resistance, but He's got this lightning malice here, and I believe there's a bunch of air mages. I don't know if there's any storm demons.
We're going to see a lot of lightning. I imagine.
Pillar of fire coming out.
Thunder strikes.
Iron blizzards.
Pillar.
Oh, he's got mass regen off too with his shamans. But these thunder strikes are brutal. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that was Master and Slave, right?
Arcane Domination.
Or was it Arcane Domination?
Was it? No, Arcane Domination, I think.
Ooh.
I briefly glanced at it.
Here it is.
Yeah, Arcane Domination.
Yoink.
But he didn't have a lot of magic things, so it got a few. Well, it got quite a few.
Now Alm didn't get any kind of anti-magic off. You know, they can do Tempering of the Will too, really cheap.
Oh. See, that's a third or maybe half of his mechanical men just.
Oh, these swarm castings he did. Really, they went off right before Arcane Domination, and I didn't know. But these bugs are magic beings. Yeah. Who would have known?
Oh gosh!
It's like surround yourself with swarm, and it's already over. I mean,
yeah.
I'm seeing. Is this Drain Life coming in? Oh yeah, it's Drain Life from these liches.
Thunderstrike.
Yeah, the Iron Angel's gone.
Enslaved Mine. Single enslaved mines.
Yeah, these guys are toast.
The front line is dead. Well. So, we now know that Ulm, unless he's got something really radically different, can't deal with these fairly moderate.
Yeah, I mean, this is this was 30-something mages. This is not a low commitment stack.
It's not, but we've just seen that there's multiples of these all over the place.
That's not the only one. Yeah.
You know, Vanheim's got a pile of these.
Yeah. So, okay, he's raiding here. Hit this with I guess this was a swarm caster.
I guess so.
Oh, no, he just pinged it.
No. Oh.
Takes this from Vanheim. I can actually see, looking at this now, too, like how Vanheim will hang in this with Pangaea. Because, like, oh my god, there's another one.
Oh. Oh my god.
So this is probably why Vanheim had sent us this message saying this turn took the longest of any turn he's ever done. And I can see why. I mean, he's got these beautifully scripted armies. He's got a lot of them.
Well, that's two of them right now that were set to patrol on top his forts. Just kind of standing there going, yeah, come on, try. And there, some guys got enslaved in the back.
Ulm is not going to like storm demons either. Oh my god.
Oh. And darkness.
Yeah. These are guardians at least, right? So they have the magic weapons. If they can get in close. Is Storm up? Yeah, Storm's up.
And Quagmire.
I mean, these guys don't even get to...
Oh, look at all that fire.
The Demon Knights running in.
And the Demon Knights.
And they're running. I'm sure Wailing Winds is up too. Rigor Mortis, Wailing Winds, and Blood Rain, Relief.
And the army's broken.
What can you do against such forces of darkness? He loses two guys, the Valkyries that jump to the back.
Oh.
I think this is GG for Ulm. I think at this point...
I think so.
I'm like... Yeah. I'm not going to try to get... why would you try to talk yourself out of this war at this point? I'd be like, I'm going to fight and take as many of you guys down with me as I can, but you're done. You're done.
I think it's a good game.
You're done.
So we are narrowing this down to 3 nations left of significance.
Well, we haven't looked at Ashdod yet.
Pelagia is... Well, I'm including Ashdod in one of the 3 that is still in play, simply because it's going to be very hard to raid him.
Oh, that's true. But we haven't looked at his turn yet. He could have had a terrible turn, too. But you're right. Yeah, Pelagia is out. Ulm is out.
I think Ulm is going to die very quickly. Yeah, I think Ulm is going to die very, very quickly. He just doesn't have the tools for this. For a 2v1, I mean, effectively, this is a 2v1, right? Because Ashdod can't help him. They're separated.
Well, he can help by pressuring Vanheim, right? But I mean,
I'm
yeah. Well, let's look. Let's see what Ashdod's doing. Raids over here with some vampire lords. He moves a big freaking army. A golem hits.
Okay. So magic phase probably.
Stormstaff and returning.
With the Staff of Storms. And it just soul slays and it goes home. Okay.
I guess this was a gem bait.
So a gem bird. And ooh, that's a good army. Oh yes.
All right. Well, this is pretty. This is low commitment from Vanheim. This, I think, is actually gem bait territory. I don't think this is even something he cares about. So he's going to basically be probing Ashdod to see his script. And we have a Seraph, by the way. Or, yeah, Shayot. This is, you don't see these very often. Ashdod can summon them.
No.
So he didn't wish for it. And they can change their path. So they can switch from air to earth to fire.
You got 4 forms.
What's the other one? Astral, I think?
Let me look them up.
I don't think there's a water form.
I think so.
And depending on the combat, they can actually cycle through all of them as they... I think if their HP goes below a threshold...
It's fire, air, earth, and astral.
That's what I thought.
The 4 forms.
Look at me,
so,
knowing all the forms, even though I've never actually summoned one.
Well, they're really expansive. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the spell? Come on, where's the spell that gets these guys?
So he Wrathful Skied himself. Lost a few long dead.
Palmer Cava. Yeah, it's 222 pearls to summon them.
It's expensive. You get a bunch of other stuff with them.
Brutal. Yeah, but it's a lot of people have commented for a long time. It's cheaper to wish for them.
Yeah.
However, you may not be able to
You
wish.
get the other stuff with them, though, too. I forget what... It's a fair amount of stuff. I don't know if it justifies it, but you get some orphans. If I recall, you get a bunch of the other angels. It probably is not worth it.
No, you get 4 orphans, which are okay, but that's
I don't
not
think you
that
get
much.
those as commanders, though, do you? I think you get them as units, and so you'd have to Gift of Reason them.
I'm not sure. It looks here like they come as units. Yeah.
If they came as commanders, it might be worth it.
And even if you convert them, they only have 2 miscellaneous slots and Holy 3.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's worth a Gift of Reason.
I think it probably is. Because they're like really high mobile maybe. Holy 3s. They could be pretty good. And I think they're pretty tough, but
they are. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so continuing on, because we're getting at 40 minutes now. We've got this army here sitting on top of this Fort Micklin. We've got Vanheim with a big pile of stuff here. He's done a bunch of vampire raiding nearby.
And Vanheim had a little bit of raiding the other way. Just cheap Kamazot raids.
Yeah, this didn't work. This worked.
No.
I don't think that there's actually not a lot of movement.
No, really low commitment for both of them on this front.
And it's odd. Okay, if you look at it too, Ashdod's here and then Vanheim's here. So this is like a pretty contentious area. We see a bunch of Vans right here that are potentially going to move in and threaten this. And this is one thing I don't get. Like, why do you have... Like, you have to play a war to win it. You don't keep this much stuff in the capital. I think that, especially if you're in Ashdod's position, I think you have to YOLO. Kind of like Ulm is like, we're going to go get it. We attacked. Okay, if the attack fails, we're out of the game. Peace.
So, notice the population of Ashdod.
Oh, yeah. He's been blood hunting it.
Or pounded with Black Death.
We can probably see.
Maybe
Hurricane.
Hurricane.
Oh, he's been getting... Zabalba was hitting it with...
Lizards. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Zabalba pounded on it.
And then Armageddon,
that's what I
too.
was thinking, that's back from... Oh, right. I just thought it was interesting to note that it's down to half of its normal population. Well, less than half because he has growth.
So...
One more comment about Ashdod. If you glance at the messages, these are all our scouts being killed. There are a ton of vengeful
Right.
waters happening all
Yeah.
over Ashdod. So we don't get to see if any of those got
Right.
anybody else.
Certainly they did kill some
But
stuff.
any thugs that Vanheim, because Vanheim didn't know Vengeful was
Right.
going up, so now the thugs he sent into it are
Yeah.
at risk. I think the Van Jarls will survive it, but
I'm honestly
I think that's a factor.
like, why is this army still in this fort? Why is this army still in this fort? I feel like Ashdod is being kind of low commitment.
Well, he said in his message he was just going to go at Mictlan this turn.
But why? You know, and the situation, I think this is like super playing, and he doesn't know all this. He was also talking about how like Diplo is kind of dark, but this turn, Ulm could send him a message in Discord and say, hey, dude, I'm not long for this game. If you're going to do something, you need to do it fast. Because with the amount of pressure that Ashdod is putting on Vanheim, Vanheim does not want out of this war with Ulm by any stretch, right? So he wants to eat Ulm in conjunction with Pangaea.
Yeah, and if we look up at
And if that
former,
happens, let me just
Jotunheim
if
lands,
that happens, if they split Pangaea,
Okay.
I mean, if they split Ulm and Ashdod doesn't make any significant gains, he's out of the game. There's no way, really, realistically. He's already like, let's look at provinces real quick. Ulm is here, right? By the time you take this remaining land and you give it to Pan and Van, that's going to put them up here, right? Like they'll be both right around here.
yeah,
And Ashdod's going to be half of their size. And yeah. All right, what were you saying? Sorry.
he might have missed. Well, just that he did comment that he was going to be kind of defensive, and he misread the interpretation of the loss of those two globals.
Yeah.
But I think he's too
Yeah.
cautious here. I think he needed to jump hard if he was going to have any chance of saving Ulm.
Right. And yeah, I mean, he's got to make plays. And then declaring war on Pangaea, I mean, great, you honored your defensive pact, but like, what are you going to do, bro? Like, you don't have stuff over here to really fight Pangaea. So now you're going to take the stuff you were too scared to move out against Vanheim, and you're going to bring it back to defend against Pangaea?
Well, and imagine how much damage Pan is going to do in the 2 turns waiting for this NAP to end. Damage.
I think Ashdod's out of the game now. I think them being so... I mean, they could have some major upsets here, but I mean...
Wow, so we might be down to a 1v1 game.
Yeah, I think we're getting close.
Very effectively.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder that this game is going slow. No, actually, that's...
But the interesting thing is the teammates are still like they're on the same team right now. Like they're not fighting each other yet, and I think that makes sense. I think right now I think the game state right now has shifted into who can eat everybody else the fastest, and they both want to play that game.
That's right.
Until the other players are gone, and they'll probably backstab each other at some point. But
both Van and Pan have just shockingly huge siege power.
Yeah.
Just brutal siege power. They can both crack any kind of fort, like boom. So then you need gateway or stuff. If you're going to hold a fort at all, you got to be able to move stuff to the fort at risk. Otherwise, it's just going to be fort after fort after fort.
I'm going to scroll through here, see if we missed anything.
I don't think so. Nothing too
This was kind of funny. You can see this.
Well, he said he was going to poke at the water. So that's what he's doing. He's poking.
We saw this. I think this was the fight he lost 2. Yeah, 2 Valkyries.
Yeah. We saw that.
How does this Van Jarl lose?
That's the one I think that got trampled, didn't it?
It's also it's only got a great sort of sharpness.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, he just got yeeted by some crossbows.
Oh.
These it's one of the kind of cool things. I think this was an Ulmish fort, and I think this is just PD. These crossbows
Mhm.
are badass. You know, yeah.
The arbalists, yes.
They will.
Yes. They,
And he should have done turn one arrow finned. I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, but
you put up
yeah,
Holy Avenger instead.
they got completely wrecked.
Okay.
Oh, we missed this.
Oh.
So this is cool to watch.
Oh. Okay. Oh, there's that crazy white mage.
Yep.
We've seen this guy. No, that's a different one. The other one was Death and Water.
So he's got the Storm Demon distraction, Flame Jellies up front. While these guys busy themselves getting buffed. This guy's got Elemental Fortitude. So he's up to 30 shock resistance. Oh my god. Wait, what? Oh, he's got
Holy
the copper
cow.
plate. Okay.
Copper plate. Okay.
Yeah, Storm Demons don't like fighting dudes with copper plates.
Okay, he just takes it.
And the Storm Demons literally can't hurt him, but they're going
splat.
to, kill everybody standing around him. I've definitely seen that before.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
he had a Wraith Lord on Advance and Cast that could have dusted this guy, but
Oh, he's getting stunned. The stuns are getting through.
yeah, I'm actually not sure why. Oh, he was petrified. It wasn't a stun.
Oh, petrified. Oh,
Well, petrified has a chance
Oh
to kill
my.
him. He's got 28 MR though.
yeah, it does.
It's a pretty low
Yeah.
chance.
But they can't get
Yeah.
through it, and then they run away.
Well,
Petrify is a good call. There.
Pelagia says, "I am down, but I am not out." So that was kind of cool. I love, this is not something you expect fighting Pelagia. You know, there's going to be some white mage that you're going to have to kill, like a white tart. He's had that guy for forever, too. Here he's trying to get... okay, so this was one of the things that Pangaea had mentioned. He was moving in a bunch of storm demons and some other stuff into this lake that will basically lock whatever's in the fort inside the fort.
Yes. And that is, where's the location
This is
there?
this fort right beneath the Throne of Death. So it was right here.
Oh, yeah.
And he took
Okay.
the storm demons, trapped whatever's in here inside this fort. He was trying to trap this too, but you can see he failed.
Yeah.
With the idea he could then storm this. But you can see he's got storm demons here. He's got white centaur. He's got a bunch of stuff. So he's at least protected this army from being attacked by both of these forts. Now it can only be reinforced by this one. And I'm probably going to storm it next turn.
I think you're right.
And
Yeah, that's pretty big. Pretty
we
big.
saw this. The Illa of Fate has died again. This was just a pile of garbage going on top of Ulm. And we saw this.
We saw that one.
Okay, and that's it.
That's it. Alrighty.
Things are in motion, boys
Well,
and girls.
sure is. Sure is.
What are your closing thoughts, Maryland?
Well, I think you summed it up. I think this is now turned into mostly a 1v1. I mean, Ashdod isn't going to be easy to kill at all.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be relatively easy to just stop Ashdod from moving. Just
Yeah.
block him so he can't go anywhere. You can just set up various kinds of traps, punish him, and in the interim, while you're doing that, Vanheim can finish off taking the forts from Jotun, former Jotun lands. Pangaea is containing Pelagia in the water quite well. So Vanheim really doesn't have to worry about Pelagia coming out of the water much. And he and Pan can focus on eating Ulm while Vanheim holds off Ashdod.
Yeah.
And then when they're finished with Ulm, they can finish off any more land for Pelagia. They can ensure that Pelagia can't get out of the water, and then they can go eat Ashdod. And then it'll just
Fighting
be
each
the two
other.
of them kind of owning half the world, fighting each other for another 20 or 30
These
turns.
thrones on their border, I think, assuming somebody doesn't throne rush at the end, which is possible, but I don't think that is actually going to happen. I think they'll probably be fighting each other before then. these thrones on the border are going to be very contentious.
Mhm.
And this one too.
There's what? A line
Yeah.
of 4 of them.
Because
Should
on the
be down
other
the map.
side, yeah, I mean, they may have forces around
Well, I
here,
would
but
say
these
that
will
those
probably
ones-
be, well, this one will be really contested too. Maybe even this one. I mean, Pangaea's about to
it's
get
gonna be
this
very
throne,
interesting.
and they're going to get the Ulm Fire throne. How many are they at now? They're at 4.
8.
So, yeah, 8 points.
8
So, but they're going to
points.
get 2 more
And Van is at
thrones, so
10
4 more
points.
points. So that's going to put them up at 12. They're going to need 1 more to win.
Right. So the final kind of winning thrones are probably in Ashdod
Yeah.
to finish the game. You know, it's kind of looking to me like they're going to split the Almish thrones kind of in half.
Yeah, it could be before they can both eat Ulm and Ashdod that the throne thing is going to make it such that Ashdod will pick sides with one of them and they won't eat him. So it could turn into a
Maybe.
2v1 before Ashdod gets eaten based on thrones. But we'll see.
Yeah. It's going to depend a lot on if Ashdod honors his defensive
Right.
agreement.
I think if I were Ashdod, I wouldn't. I would say, you're screwed, buddy. There's no point doing our defensive. I mean, I would talk to him, but I don't think it helps him. He needs to be so aggressive right now and take so much of Vanheim that I don't even know how he would do it before Pangaea. I think maybe he needs to turn on Pangaea and peace out with Vanheim. I don't know.
You can make a public declaration of you're ending your NAP with Pangaea to honor the defensive agreement, and then immediately start negotiating an agreement with Pangaea. Because then you've met the literal wording.
Well, I mean,
meeting
yeah,
the
I mean,
spirit.
I think you just talk to Ulm, and but I'm not even sure. The only thing I know is Ashdod needs to make plays right now.
I agree.
And he can do it against. I think he just picks who would he be able to make better plays against, Vanheim or Pangaea, and make plays against them. I don't think you try to fight both of them to honor a defensive alliance.
Oh God, no.
Especially with your partner in it bleeding out. So.
Yeah, I think that's suicide to do that.
All right, we'll tune back in next time. We'll see what happens.
Alrighty.
See you guys.